everyone. Welcome to the Life Happens podcast. I am your host, Grace, and the Life Happens podcast is a podcast where basically we are talking about practical things, spiritual things, combining it together to create this beautiful things. Kim, I cannot see your beautiful face, girl. Let me change some stuff. Okay, because you hiding. You hiding. But while I'm doing that, can you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Kim, can you please talk, girl? Because you're very quiet today.
Yes, hi. I am Kim. I'm so happy to be here today.
Girl, hush, 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 hush. We're really having technical Oh gosh, I need to call my daughter, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm a professional.
I love the title of this topic. I love the title, Tangled Webs.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
But
Yes.
how many people are in relationships that look like shit and no one talks about it, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. They're not alone.
How
Kim,
many people are in relationships that actually need help? They need someone to say, hey,
that's
let
not
me help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean it's more common now, if you notice. It's like the most messed up the relationship is, it's like it's the most attractive. So it leads you to believe or think like, what the hell is in the water, the air, what's going on with people? Because we're in the era where people talk about mental health, and I mean, like it's nothing. But why do we enter into relationships that look like our scenario? And we'll get into that in a little bit. But today we have B Jones. Have you said hi, Brian, to the people, the good people out there? Yo, Brian wasn't with us for the past couple of weeks. He was trying to, be all standoffish and stuff. I don't know what the problem was, but
I'm
anyway.
glad he's here
John
today.
Beach.
Welcome, Brian.
Thank you for
Hello,
joining
Kim.
today.
Hold on, which way is Kim? Kim's that way.
Yeah.
Hello, Felicia.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, Keisha, girl. So, Keisha has a new show that's gonna, I think, air the 2nd of September, called Perspective. I hope I'm saying it right. It's her. We had Eric on before, and a lady named Toya, I believe. I don't know her, but I am so excited for them because I know it's gonna be funny. Because we know Keisha, honey. So let me ask you guys. Well, before I even get into it, how was your weekend? What did you guys do? Was it great or same old, same old?
I just came back from Mexico, which, and unexpected kind of trip. I went there to be with my
Right.
daughter. And then this weekend was my husband's birthday. So that was fun.
Oh,
And his uncles, all four of his uncles, flew up here to surprise him for his birthday.
Oh, that
so
sounds
cool.
cool.
That was a lot of fun for them to come, all of them together, just to celebrate him. So that was really great. So we had a fun weekend.
I bet you ate good too, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I bet you ate good.
Because William cooked and cooked and cooked and barbecued and cooked. Yes.
Wait, he
Oh,
cooked on his birthday? He was cooking on his
Yes.
birthday?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
I made a brownie. Does that count?
No, ma'am. But I know
Um,
you don't cook, really. You're a baker. You're a baker. Keisha says September 1st. Thanks for the plug, Grace. Of course, girl. So I want to ask you guys a question. Have any of you guys been in a tangle web or a love triangle, if you may, or something that wasn't of the norm in a relationship? Has that ever happened to you guys, knowingly or unknowingly? Because sometimes people be not telling you that you're number two and you don't know.
Girl, can I start this off, please? I was I was seeing this guy. It was like when I left college, and me and him were really good friends, and we were trying to see if we could be more than friends. And I lived here in Dallas, and he still lived in Denton because he attended North Texas
Okay.
State University, and I attended TW. Anyway, long story short, we were friends for 4 years. Well, after I left, he's like, "Hey, I really like you. Let's try to become something more." And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I love this guy. He was
Wait, you
great,
loved him
wonderful
or you
person.
liked him? Did you love him or did you like him?
No, I liked him a lot. I
Okay.
had a crush on him. I liked him. Wonderful. And then, so we were talking back and forth, kind of a long distance thing because, like I said, he's in Denton, I'm in Dallas. So we're just talking when we're going to meet up, blah, 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 blah. Next week, I get a call from a girl.
Wow.
And she says, you need to stop talking to Aaron.
Wow.
That's my man. I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. First of all, darling, you don't need to be talking to me. You need to be talking to him. And don't call my house again. Never
But
in that conversation.
yeah, that's very interesting when the woman attacks the other woman.
I know.
Mm-mm.
Why? Go to the source, baby. Go to the source.
Maybe she thinks that she was tempting him. Because that's how women think sometimes, oh, that he couldn't have, thought this plan up by himself. Like,
I know. There's no way. There's no way.
your fault, temptress, you.
Right. I was in like Kim in college. This happened. I was in a relationship with this guy. I thought I was his everything. Like, he was a lot older. He was almost 30. And he gave me his credit card, and he would fly in to come visit me. But he also had children that lived in Lubbock, where I was at school. He also had kids there. So he would come, like, if he flew in that night, he would come see me. We would hang out. And then in the morning, he would get up and go see the kids, right?
Wow.
And he would bring the kids over, and we go out to eat or whatever. So I wasn't a secret to anybody, so I thought. And I come to find out I was the other girl. I was the other woman. And I found this out because he drove a car down to visit. And I was like, oh, what a nice car. I like this car, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, it's for my baby mama. I was like, huh? I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, I bought her a car. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, and they...
Mm-mm. No.
No, sir. No.
No. And so that was pretty much over. So I was the other woman. I was the side chick. But
without even knowing it.
Because when he came to visit, it was never like we always went out. I met the kids, so I just never met her, but I met the kids, and I thought it was not. I thought we were on the up and up, but
I know, I do. Everything's
damn. You didn't even get a call. What's up with that? But he gave.
I know, but I had a credit card. But I didn't get a car, so there you go.
Go. What about you, Brian?
Oh yeah, when I got cheated on.
Oh wow.
When I found out, so unknowingly. But yeah, that's about it.
So I'm gonna share something. I think I've shared this with Brian before. Maybe I have. I don't remember, but I think I may have because we talk about these scenarios. When I was growing up, where I come from, these 4 race groups: Black, Indian, white, and colored. And I'm considered colored because I'm mixed. And Indian men love colored women, right? So my mother told me to say one sentence. If a man approach you, tell him that you're on your period. Or say, no, say this. Oh, your wife must be on her period. That's why you're talking to me. Worked every time. Because had I not made that statement, I could have ended up dating married men and wouldn't have known it. But they would always have the shock look, like, because, my mother was married before and she married an Indian man. So I guess maybe that's why she knew. And it sounds crazy, but it worked. But I've never been in a situation where I've been a secret or that I know of. Let me say that. Shit, you don't even know. Today's scenario, it got me discombobulated. I was mad. I was irritated. Then I was like, girl, bye. Bye. Because you're too old for that. So could somebody please read the scenario?
Ooh, can I read?
This is like reading the book of Chronicles or
I was thinking, what's the book that I think it's Genesis with Sodom and Gomorrah?
No, this is just a long read. I'm gonna go to sleep.
No. Because
we don't need to read past the first 2 sentences, really.
Really, we don't. I agree. But let's read some of it. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read
You can read all of it if you want to. I'm just saying, if you see me nodding off,
So you can get, so people out there can get the gist of
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on in her life.
Let it be. Yeah, read all of it for the audience. But I'm gonna go to sleep.
She says, I am here to vent. Hmm. I just recently got back with my son's daddy after being split up a whole year. In that year, I was married to another man,
Mm,
and I'm currently
Jesus.
pregnant with his baby and
mm.
about to deliver her any day now. I don't talk to my husband at all and probably won't till the baby is born. He cheated on me and abused me left and right. And so he left me. Um, I don't know what she's trying to say here, but leaving me and my son's daddy and I. Oh, me. Okay, leaving me. My son's daddy and I worked things out for our son, and he agreed to help me with my daughter, my unborn daughter, considering it was our son's sister and my baby. Well, my son's daddy and I don't get along very well. He comes home, he don't want to spend time with me. He refused to help with his own son. I, of course, get mad about it and say something, and then it just blows up. I cook for him. I clean for him. I do
You
his
full of shit.
laundry. I wake him up. I take him to work. I got him off drugs, right? I just think I do so much for him. And honestly, he treats me like I'm 2 inches tall. He accuses me of cheating. If I don't want to have intercourse, he's mean as hell to me that night and won't even touch me. My son adores him. That's why I went back after my husband left me.
Hey, Jesus.
Last year, when we split up, he didn't want nothing to do with our son unless I was with him. And I'm terrified if I leave him again, it's going to happen to me again. My son does not deserve an absent father, especially one he loves so much. It broke his heart when my husband and I split up. I don't want to do it to him again and his bio daddy, but I'm so unhappy in how he treats me.
I just want to say this.
You read that like it was nap time in the second grade.
Did I?
You know what, I was envisioning graham crackers and chocolate milk and just a nice little place on the ground.
Oh, no, there you go. There you go.
Before we unpack, let me read this because, and I want to say something before we unpack this. Keisha says, my tangled web wasn't quite tangled. I knew about our girl, but I didn't like her. So I took pleasure in redoing him. He
Ooh.
was paying bills, putting money on my kids' lunch accounts, etc. Why would I turn him loose?
Mm.
Jesus is Lord, guys. Okay. Keisha, you naughty. But I just want to say this to people that stay in relationships and marriages longer than they should. And as someone that has had the experience, let me tell you what, it is not divorce that hurts kids, it's the relational dysfunction that hurts kids. Because they will tell you afterwards, Mom, I thought you were going to leave him a long time ago. What? And I've stayed for you because I thought that was giving you stability, but I really wasn't. Because now I've created all these wounds in you that now I got to take you to therapy. I got to have these people talking to you. I got to undo, unpack. It's worse.
I agree.
Mhm.
I totally agree. It's worse on the child when you're in a situation like you said, dysfunctional home, and mother and father are fighting every day, and you don't know what kind of mother is coming home or you don't know what kind of father is coming home. Just having
Mhm.
two parents in the same home does not make a healthy child.
No.
No, that does not. It does not. And I think every child needs therapy. I'm sorry. I
I,
do.
I think, yeah. And especially in this situation, I mean, the boy is, how old did you say um, the child was?
The baby is two. The little boy is two.
Two.
So of course a 2 year old is gonna love their parent. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He's
She's just
two.
using that as an excuse to
Yeah.
stay.
Of
Yeah,
course.
he's two.
I mean, yeah. So who would like to really dig into this from the beginning? Because I think somebody needs to say something about the elephant in the room. She is a dumbass. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think
Um.
maybe it's fear though, don't you think? I mean, fear of being alone, it
Yeah.
seems like to me.
Yeah, she does have a fear of being alone, but when is it? Well, she shouldn't say how old she was, right?
No.
No, I mean, it kind of matters, but it doesn't. It does a little bit matter how old she is, but not really. Maturity doesn't. Age doesn't mean maturity. Age doesn't mean self love. Age doesn't mean, your logic overpowers your emotions. And so it kind of does, but it doesn't. But that's not. I'll let y'all go first because mine gonna be quick. I ain't getting past this first two sentences.
Well, I mean, she is. I'm assuming she's young. She's childbearing age. I'm just gonna say that. I'm assuming my assumption was she was somewhat in her 20s, but like he said, age doesn't matter. To me, dumb is dumb. It's at what point do you like you left one bad relationship knowingly jumping into another horrible
Mhm.
relationship. There's a
Mhm.
reason why he was your ex. It just didn't come by chance. So I'm thinking, she's just wanting to be with somebody. Don't want to be with this child by herself, don't want to raise these kids by herself, but she is, and she's adding another kid, quote unquote, the man she's with, who apparently ain't got his stuff together because she's like getting him jobs and doing all this. So it's like, why did you jump out the skillet to jump into the frying pan? It was just like, it made no sense to me. The whole thing made no sense to me. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Like I was trying to like put myself in her shoes. Let me read this comment. Keisha says, "No, Kim, Grace is right. She's a dumbass." Yes,
She
because
is.
I mean, and we don't know her age. Okay, granted, we don't know her age.
Mhm.
Um, I felt compassion towards her, but I still think she's a dumbass because to me, you're not in a relationship. You a man's mother. If she takes him to work, she got him this job, she helped him get clean, she's done all the things that a mother would do for her son or her kid. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can help your partner, but the things that she's like in enabling him. And
Right.
then he treats her like shit, she says. So he's mistreating her. And you there because you don't want your son. No, that's bullshit. Like Brian was saying, that is an excuse to stay. You don't need to be staying.
Right.
So
I agree. I mean, the whole thing is full of excuses. It's like, and then it's like she said, she's literally venting all the stuff that she's done. I'm doing this for him. I'm doing that for them. And both men treat her like trash, pretty much, is what she was saying. So it's like, okay, you're venting, but what are you going to do? You're just going to stay? I mean, who wants to be with somebody? I mean, it's to me, it's like a stressful situation because she's pregnant, you know, and I'm dealing with all of this. I'm pregnant and I'm dealing with him treating me bad. So it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack with her. But I think it's just the not wanting to be alone, thinking to have a family. A lot of women are caught up into I need a husband or a man with these kids, so we can look like a functional family when they are actually the most dysfunctional family. um, they're the total opposite of what she's trying to portray.
no, agreed. I know a lot of, and I would say African women because when they reach a certain age, they will marry anybody and anything just to say they got husbands, and they're huge on marriage. And then, I mean, because you can see, you know how sometimes you see two people together and they do not match. They do not. They do not. And most of the times they do not match. And then if you get close to them and you have these conversations with them and they start like sharing, you be like, damn, you just did because you were at that age and you need to get married,
Right.
you know. But you know what else? Okay, Brian, can you, because you've been very quiet today, I just need you to say something, please. Can you unpack this thing for us, sir?
You know what? I hear a lot of people, black women especially, talk about breaking generational curses all the time, breaking financial generational curses, breaking this generational curse, breaking that one. The one that black women need to really concentrate on is breaking the generational curse of your daughter getting in situations like this with a no good dude and thinking that she needs some type of validation, some type of I need to change this person. And this is going to scar her for a while. I don't care how old she is.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it happens in our community. Now, mind you, I can go into a historical I can almost validate why black women act some this way. And I'm not going to try to defend it. I'm just saying there is a historical context I could go to, but that can be at a later date. But I will say this. I normally talk about the fear. Kim's already pumped that in there. Felicia has talked about, wanting to be with someone, the family, the husband, keeping that together. The way you love is learned, and normally the person that you picked is a reflection of how you feel about yourself, right? I don't know what this woman went through prior to getting with this first dude, but it ain't good. There's no way it could be good.
No.
Either she's like I say, the way you love is learned. So the way she's learned to love, she's putting that out there, and she's getting that back from who she's with, the two guys that she's with. It's not like she's dumb. Women are dumb. Like, I talk about intuition and discernment all the time on this thing for women, especially Black women. Y'all aren't stupid, but y'all go out there sometimes and do stuff like this. She's got the whole thing is she left her baby daddy, her first baby daddy, and within a year,
Yeah.
she married another person, had a kid by this other person within a year. So just people will say, well, you could be with somebody for 10 years and then meet somebody for 3 months, and that person with 3 months value, pump the brakes on all that. This ain't this. This woman rushed into this. She's trying to fill voids. It's a reflection of who she is now. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of women who pick men based on who their dads were, a reflection of their father. And what Grace said earlier about counseling women not to stay in relationships because of the kids, a bad poisonous relationship because of the kids. If you stay in a tumultuous, toxic, poisonous situation, and those kids grow up in that, they're only going to do one of two things. They're either going to duplicate it or they're going to do the opposite of it. And you don't want to take that coin flip. You don't want to take that coin flip of your son watching his dad abuse his mother. You don't want to do that, because he's going to grow up and it's going to be embedded in him that I've been watching my dad abuse my mom, whether I like it or not, whether I understand it a lot. And it's going to be a day where it clicks, and it's either going to click on or he's just going to do the opposite of it. And most of the time it clicks on and he becomes the new abuser to a woman who he's basically like salivating over that he can do this to because his dad picked his mom. Wow. You don't want to take that risk. So all of this rushing, trying to fill a void, trying to keep this thing together because she's got time and money and effort in it, and she doesn't want to build a man for some other female and all that type of stuff. All of this is horrible. And guess what? It's all her fault. Because if there's a hot plate that is steaming, that it doesn't have any water in it, and it is red, and you grab it, and it blisters you up, 15-degree thousand burns on your hand. There is no way you can go, oh man, that hot plate did me wrong. No, you're stupid enough to grab it. It's hot. What are you talking about? These men are who they are. She rushed into another relationship. All she did was look for the same man in another body. That's all she did. She was with her first baby daddy, and she looked for her baby daddy in another body, and she found him. And he treated her the same way her baby daddy treated him. And then she left, and then she got back with her baby daddy because she has no self-esteem. She's got no self-love, and she is picking people according to how she loves herself and how she views herself.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you said a lot of things that we could actually really...
Snapple time! These things are pretty good. That's not a paid advertisement, though.
No, but so you talked about repeating patterns and cycles and all that stuff, and that's the risk you take by staying in these poor relationships, because it's true. My brother was telling me the other day, because I had an older sibling that used to drink a lot, and he said he remembered being always worried about him when he came home, like when he was missing, right? Like well, I don't say missing, but when he was out, and he made up in his mind that he would never drink. He would never do drugs. And to this day, my brother has never taken a drink. So you're right, it does. it makes you choose one way or the other, you know.
There's
And
there's there's no third option. It's either duplicate or do the opposite of. But most of the time, people duplicate the behaviors that they grow up seeing.
mhm,
And like you said earlier, Rabia, you the longer you're in something like that, the more unlearning and more therapy you've got to go through later. Like
fact,
you have to unlearn what you've seen. If the little boy is 2, and let's just say she finally gains enough self-love where she's going, this is hurting my peace and I'm gone. Let's just say that he's 10. There's 8 years of learned behavior that this kid has now got inside of him that he's got to unlearn sooner or later, that he's going to be an adult doing some of the stuff that he saw in this 8-year period, whether it be, and people can say, well, he's 4, he doesn't really know. Yes, he may not know, the deception and the manipulation, but he hears the yelling. He sees dad and mom confronting each other on a consistent basis. He sees conflict resolution only through being loud or being violent or being abusive. He sees, someone leaving, not trying to resolve something. I mean, he sees a lot that is embedded in it.
And he sees, along with what you're saying, he sees how to treat women, because
Yeah.
she's creating a man that, oh, this is how you treat women. So he's, going to go out and repeat the behavior on another woman.
he
Yeah.
is.
He's going. It's definitely. It's going to click one day. And he's
Mhm.
going to do it. It's almost inevitable.
True.
I was so proud of her because she got out of the first abusive relationship.
Who was proud of her? Who was
she-
proud of her?
No, listen. I said
Yeah.
I was proud of her because she got out of it, because she recognized that I am in an abusive relationship. Let me get out. No, listen, because she did get out of it, but she went back to that old thing. And sometimes we will always go back to something that's familiar. When we get out of something, we get out of something. It's like, oh man, I got to get out. I got to get out. But then we go back to the familiar. It's just
agree.
human nature to go back to something that is familiar to you.
And you
I
also have to
have a-
recognize this lady is emotional.
Yeah.
She's emotional. She's getting ready to have this baby. Probably in her head, she does not want to do this by herself.
Definitely doesn't want to do by herself. But she
Mm-hmm.
got into this other relationship when she wasn't knocked up. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
hormones once an issue then. I understand because we've been pregnant. We know the hormones ain't no joke when you're
Right.
pregnant. I get it. I get it. Maybe she'll change her mind when she has the baby. But I'd like to know where the hell is her family members? Where
Her friends. Ain't nobody
Like,
speaking into your life, sister. Saying,
Yes, they are. You know
what
what?
are you
In fact,
doing?
really, in those relationships, they are, but the women are so
Doesn't
far
matter.
along
Doesn't
because
matter.
sometimes that man will say, they don't like me. Your family don't want you to be happy. Don't none of your aunties got a man. Men have a way to manipulate that.
I saved a thought earlier that goes exactly what Felicia was talking about. If you're talking to someone whose emotions have overridden their logic, you're talking to a brick wall. It doesn't matter what you say. They are done. They especially your emotions roll according to your self-love. There are things that when my self-love wasn't as high. Now I have actually been blessed to have a level of confidence and self-love, but that was indoctrinated in me from my family. So I don't have certain issues that other people have with that. You know what I'm saying? But even when it wasn't as high as it is, your emotions are controlled by not only logic, but that peace that's inside of you that you will not compromise, right? And if you're talking to someone whose emotions are through the roofs and they've compromised every command decision through how they feel and only how they feel, whatever you say is going in one ear and out of the other. But their logic is working. You know why? Because when they get mad, everything they say makes sense, right? They go, he's not, what is she? She's mad in this. If you the further we read, her logic starts kicking in. She's like, I'm doing this for him. I'm waking him up at 5 a.m. I've fixed his credit. He used to be a drug dealer. Now he's not. And she's logically working out her own problem. But then what happens? Her emotions come in and pop her logic right in the mouth and knock him out. And she goes, but I feel I don't want to be alone, and I feel I need some dad for my father, and I feel
like that.
Yes, and my son adores him.
Yes.
Yeah, that bull crap. My son adores him. Yeah. All of that is all emotion, and no matter what you say, her family's probably in the picture, and even if they weren't, but let's just say they are. No one can convince her otherwise. Nobody. Nobody. Sadly, it is going to take a tragic event for her to get out of this.
I hope not.
Well, it has not so much a tragic
therapy.
event, but it has to get to a point, I agree, where she's sick and tired of being sick and tired.
But that only comes when she has a level of self-love that won't let her peace get compromised anymore. And if she's not going to therapy and she's not listening to people, it will take a tragic event.
But she's done it before, so maybe she'll do it again. You know?
No, but when she did it before, she went to the same dude in a different body.
Right. She's not Kim. If this one don't work out, honey, at the rate she's going, there will be another one. But guys, let me read some comments, please.
Where did you go?
Where did she go?
Let me read comments. Keisha Walker says, the only thing I want out of a man that resembles my father is my dad's work ethic. I haven't found that yet. Brian, try the apple snapple.
Sorry, guys.
Drink it ice cold. It'll change your life, bruh.
Hey, I'll tell you what. You can only drink Snapple ice cold. I put it in the freezer, so it's a slush. So yes, drink it ice cold, the apple Snapple. I will try that. Appreciate you.
I'm going to try that.
Me too, Keisha. Thank you. I don't know what the other ones are. Rabia needs to put them up.
Okay, put what up, honey?
The other comments, if there's more than one.
No, there's more comments. You don't see all the comments?
No.
We only see one.
Just Keisha's.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with this computer, but it knocked me out twice.
Let me see if
I can see. Okay. So Paige says, don't know who the subject of this talk is about, but it sounds like low self-esteem and self-hatred are generational culprits. Is therapy enough? No, therapy is not enough.
No.
Because you
Therapy is not enough.
Therapy.
Why can't therapy help her?
You know why? Because it's okay. So the
healing and deliverance. We're not talking about deliverance, but there's another piece to this healing thing, right? And so therapy is not just going to cut it. You know that.
Yeah, tragedy. And y'all can say all you want to, you hope not, but there's the major thing where people change in their own particular, because people don't normally change unless a force outside of themselves that's greater than themselves forces them to change. So let's just briefly go over some major changes, some major things that some major things that happen in people's lives where they go, oh, it's time to change. Death is the number one, probably. Number two is a kid. Someone has a child. If there is a diagnosis that says you are going to die unless you, right? So, but all of those, except the kid part, is could be seen as a tragedy. Like if all of a sudden, this guy starts hitting on her and wailing on her, and she gets sent to the hospital and has 52 broken bones. Well, now she might wake up and go, oh yeah, and I need to get out. But if he just hits her one time and she's got, a black eye, that's not enough. Most of the time when people change, it is a major tragedy that helps them change. And that question is a good question. Is therapy enough? The answer is no, because she's not going to practice the therapy that's given to her. So I've been researching and almost living by a statement the past 2 to 3 years, and I've been researching a lot. It said, and I think I've said it on here before, but I'll say it again. You are not who you say you are. You are not who you believe you are. You are what you practice, right? And no matter how many times she goes to therapy, if her emotions override that session and she doesn't practice the things from that therapy, well, then she's just going to be going to therapy and nothing's going to click. You have to practice what you're doing, and her emotions are too high, too far gone in order for any of this to apply. And it's going to take something bad for her to change.
I will say for my transformation and my change, because I'm not gonna lie, I was not good for a long time. I had to literally take therapy and take the spiritual things and put it together. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I've read all the self help books. I have done what the books told me to do. But when I didn't add the spiritual side to it, it didn't work. That's for me. And I know that's for most people, but people, we don't talk about certain things, because for
Mhm.
whatever reason. But let me read some
Deliverance
comments.
is key. Deliverance is key.
Deliverance
I
is where it's
totally
at.
agree with that.
CJ says, Brian saying he got some Riz. I like it. Look at that Riz word. Jesus. Keisha said, what's familiar to me were Builder Bear brothers. Builder brothers? I'm saying Builder Bear. Anyway, because my rationale was I'm a natural helper and maybe he needs someone on his side for a change. But those days are long gone. I couldn't have been more wronger. Now I'd rather be by myself than to build another brother. If you don't have your crap together, you need to keep on stepping. Yeah, because I mean, you're at that point in your life, these young women have the energy. I get you, girl.
Yeah.
Keisha says, get the apple snapple, Brian, in the glass bottle, not the plastic bottle. It's a huge difference. Trust me on these guys. I've done the research. Hey, you better listen to it. You better listen. Because let me say this: you can go to therapy and you can practice everything your therapist told you to do, but there's generational things that are in your bloodline. If they're not,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I mean, yeah, we're not gonna get spiritual all the way in, but you know what I'm talking about. Like it doesn't work. It
Well,
doesn't work. You
it's
have to have a balance.
but it's a thing. Something has to click, and like Brian was saying, I agree, but I don't agree. It's something that has to click, and everybody, it is different. For people to stop drinking, for people to stop smoking, it's something that has to click, and it's a combination of things. It is the spiritual, it is the mental, it is the tragedy. Sometimes it's not. It could be the tragedy of the information. Like if you keep going down this road with this guy, he's gonna kill you and your kids. That could be tragedy enough for her. It just depends on the person, because it click. Something has to mentally click with her that this is not good. Like this is not what I think it is. You know what I mean? If it doesn't, like you said, you can read a book all day, but if it doesn't click, if the things don't, if you don't have, I don't know, that it to try to make it happen or try to do better, it doesn't matter. That's with anything though. If you don't really desire to do better, the therapy is not going to work anyway. And
No,
that desire comes from the tragedy or from whatever it is that causes you to kind of about face, to turn, to change, to want to
Yeah,
make
for your
that
self
change.
love to rise a little bit.
yeah.
And
When
and and so I know. No, go ahead, Kim.
I was gonna say, when don't we stop wanting the best for us? When do we look at our lives and say, you know what, this just isn't the best for me? This
You
isn't
know,
the
When your self
best.
love kicks in. When
you
Mhm.
your
know
self love kicks in.
you have to be tired. You have to be sick of feeling the same way you've been feeling. People are not tired because why we use these little things to make us feel good for a moment. It's all in our feelings and you feel good. Maybe some of us eat, maybe some of us have sex, maybe some drink, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Those things that are just temporary fixes because no one is willing to do the work sometimes. Because working on yourself is not easy because you have to keep looking at yourself, reevaluating yourself. You think you're okay, you're working on one thing, and then boom, the Holy Spirit shows you something else, and you're like, okay, I'm under a constant construction. But when you understand that being under a constant construction is going to make you reach that place where
Mhm.
you really learn to live. I mean, really live. And I only can talk like this because I've walked this thing out. I have literally walked it. I got tired of feeling the way that I was feeling. There had to be a better way. I didn't know the way. So I went to therapy. I went to deliverance, did all those things combined. And that's where true change came for me. Oh, my bad, y'all. That's where true change came for me. And that's what, 'cause I got sick of it. And then I thought about my kids, like, what am I teaching my girls? What am I teaching my son? I've been in this relationship where my son saw this, he saw a woman talking to her husband a certain way. And I told my kids, guys, I apologize. It doesn't matter what your dad did. I should have never spoken to him in the manner that I was. And I am so sorry. And I told my girls, this is not a way a man should treat a woman. So I had to uproot a lot of things. There was a lot of work, not just on myself, but on them, because they had these preconceived ideas. I could see one of my children talking about they hated men because of their father. We had to redo that thing. And we still talk about it. So as a woman, when you're looking to jump from one man to another, you need to consider your children.
Oh,
Because
every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every
we
time.
don't do that because we want these quick fixes. You want to self-soothe,
I
maybe.
know you want to feel good.
You can have both. You just do your feel good on the side away from your kids, and then come back to your life with your kids.
But see,
You know,
here's the thing, though. The only reason I know this is a Christian podcast, but the only reason why um, I'm not going to take deliverance out, but I'm going to put it as a side of the entree rather than the main part of it, is because there are people who don't believe in God. There are people who maybe believe in another religion that are going through the same thing that we're talking about.
right.
And when that therapy, it's about what you practice, and it's about when you discover enough of yourself and you no longer want that piece to be compromised. That is the click. Whenever that happens, and it doesn't happen, just think about this scenario or any scenario or scenarios that you've possibly been through, or that friends that are in bullcrap scenarios, and look at the common denominator. None of them, even you at the time when you were going through something like this, had self-love or a level of it. You may not even had a conscious understanding of what self-love actually is, right? And that's and I kind of give grace with people, grace with that for people, because there's no class we take, and we're not taught by our parents about it. But your self-esteem, your self-love is down anytime something like this is in play. I don't care how beautiful she is. There was a girl a couple of months ago, or either early this year or late last year. She had won a pageant contest, and she had won all of this stuff. She was a gorgeous young lady, but she was like 26, 27, something like that. She jumped off the 50-story building. She had followers all over the place. Her self-esteem was in the gutter, right? And she committed suicide over it. And that's people are killing themselves in these types of scenarios. And I don't mean, and that stuff is very detrimental when it comes to, kids, yourself. It's a lot of reprogramming and unlearning and things like that. So even if someone doesn't believe in God or doesn't have the same faith that we do, the mechanics are still there, because once you learn something, it is in there. Now it's according to how I'll prove a point. Let me ask all three of y'all. Mm-hmm. Without using math, because really life is about breaking things down to the lowest level of competency. And when your logic kicks in, the competency is there. So the more simplistic things are, the more easier it is to duplicate and learn. So let me ask all three of y'all this question. Without using math, how do you make 7 even? I'll repeat it. Without using math, how do you make 7 even?
Oh, he's just feeling real smart about himself.
No, it's so.
Do we answer?
Yeah, you can answer it.
Oh, remove the S. I'm such a cheater, but I love it.
I knew you looked it up. You're like,
I didn't look it up. But let me read some comments. Most people have to hit their bottom to get to the end of themselves before they really want change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. But you know what? Have you noticed something? Even if you're not a believer, you believe that there's a devil. Do you not? Have you ever heard people saying that? They know there's a very real adversary. They may not believe in God, but they know there's a devil. So to me, when I hear like the lady that killed herself, right, like jumped off the building, she was consumed with voices I can imagine.
Oh, of course.
I mean, just consumed. And a lot of people don't really, well, they've heard of deliverance, but they don't believe it. So that's where a lot of stuff comes in, because you can do the books, guys. I'm telling you, you can do the books, the self-help books. It will help to a point, but you're gonna hit that brick road.
Right.
So let me show you where I got my answer from. Okay, you want to see where I got my answer from? Let me show you.
Right. So yeah, we got you cheated off of a person in the chat. So good
Yeah.
job, Mrs. Page. You're awesome. But look, here's the point of that. The first of all, when I said that your brain and every part of being in you went right to math. It did the opposite of what I told you to do, because human beings have a natural tendency to complicate everything. Right. So that's the first thing. So now, anytime, if I'm teaching you about breaking things down simplistically, the first thing you won't do if I gave you another a brain teaser is you won't jump to complexity anymore. You're going to try to automatically go to the simplistic part of the riddle, right? And the answer's right next to each other. How do you make 7 even? It's right next to each other, right? So the answer is, of course, take the S off. And now you're going, oh my goodness. You can never unlearn that lesson that you were just taught. Break things down to the lowest level of competency. Keep things simple. Don't let your natural tendency of complexity to reign over you. And that also has to do with emotions. But there's no way that you can unlearn what I just gave you. So if you go to therapy and you learn something, the only way you unlearn it is when your emotions override it and kick it right in the nuts.
True.
That's it.
I mean, emotions are not a bad thing because they protect us, but it becomes a bad thing when it dominates your life,
Right. But most people don't know how to control them because we're not taught how to control them. We think that life experiences are the teacher, and they're really not.
But do you honestly think in this letter, and I'm sitting here thinking about it, do you think she honestly felt like going to her child's father was a better situation? That she honestly felt like, I can't deal with this guy that I'm married to because this is a horrible situation. I'm going to go to this other guy that I used to be with because it's a better situation. In her mind, I'm not saying that it was. I'm just saying in her mind, her logic, did she think that what I had with my ex before was a lot better than what I got with my husband?
I have a girlfriend who got divorced from her husband because it just wasn't a really good relationship. But the guys that she date now are just like her ex.
Because she's unhealed.
They are just like her ex. I mean, they are. It's like, oh, you're dating your ex. She's like, oh no. Oh,
you're looking for your ex in a different body.
Yeah.
And then I meet them, and I'm like, oh no, this is your ex. You are dating the exact same person you just left.
Yeah, she's definitely unhealed for sure, because you attract what you're ready for, right?
Yeah.
Once you go through the healing, deliverance, whatever, you attract what you're ready for. And clearly she's not ready because she keeps attracting the same person.
Yeah.
And also people need to, like, when you notice that pattern, you need to pause and figure out, why the heck am I doing this, and turn inwardly.
Exactly.
But the thing of it is, people have a hard time being alone with themselves.
No, they're not going to do that because that requires self-reflection, self-awareness, self-accountability, and people don't want to do that. People don't want to do. So what you're saying is, yeah, in theory, true.
Oh, God.
But it's not going to happen because people don't like. You know why? Self-reflection hurts. The body is designed to protect itself. Self-reflection hurts. The body doesn't want to hurt. So when you start practicing any type of self-reflection, the body goes, oh, no. Do something that makes us feel good. And then you just stop. But Felicia made a great point. I don't think she ever got over her first baby daddy. And she probably used the husband as a way to go, ha, look at me. I'm going to get you back with this guy. I'm going to make you jealous with this guy. And I'm going to be with this new guy, marry him, just so you can see this. I want this to be a bad relevancy deal. And just so you can see all this go down. and she knew all along that she wanted her ex. She was with another dude for the time being, and then she got back with her ex because she never wanted to leave him in the first place.
But the ex wanted her back.
Yeah.
Come on, the
Of
ex.
course you would. If
The
he can
ex
get away
wanted
with all
her
the
back.
stuff that he got away with, of course I want her back. He doesn't have to do anything.
But then it goes back to being, like you said, to oversimplify. Or am I oversimplifying it? I was talking to a girlfriend that's dating this guy who's terrible, who was terrible, but he was better than her ex-husband. Okay, so he was better than her ex-husband, and I asked her, "What does love look like to you?" Because I honestly feel like she had no idea what love actually looks like. You know, your husband was a nightmare. This new guy you with, he was better, but he still wasn't a good guy.
It's still a
So
nightmare.
yeah. So what does I said, what does love look like to you? You know, because a lot of people don't know. And when I look back at her family, none of her sisters are married, her mother never married, and her grandmother never married.
The
So
way you
I'm
love
like,
is
how does
learned.
she know what
There
love
you
looks
go.
like?
There you go. The way you love is learned. She saw all of this go down, and she's just duplicating what she grew up watching. And
Right.
there's
Generational.
and people,
Generational.
what we can't do is we can't put our own level of understanding, self-awareness, self-healing on situations like this. Right? We can't go, oh, if this was me, I would, yeah, because we're in a different spot. See, now, if someone ever, if you ever hear that brain teaser I just gave you,
Mm-hmm.
you can't look at people that have never heard it and go, oh, you're slow. Yeah. You know the answer. You know what I'm saying? You know the answer is take the S off. So you can't judge people or put yourself in their shoe. Well, if that was me, I would have got, nah, man, nah. Right? We can't. We don't know how these people are raised. We don't know what their background is. We don't know what's going on. All we get is this scenario. And yeah, we called her a dumbass. And yeah, she is one. But there may be reasons why
Right.
she's a dumbass. You know what I'm saying? Because like Felicia just said, she knows someone that went from a nightmare to a nightmare on Elm Street, right? It's the same nightmare, right? It's just one
Right.
Freddy Krueger's out of one, Michael Myers is in the other. You know,
Right.
you're still running for your life every day. So, but once again, that's just a pattern of some very general things, like like the low self-esteem and the picking and the duplicating what you've seen and the picking scenarios based off of how you feel about yourself, or picking people based off how it's the same common theme over and over again, because it's very sad that people don't have this level of understanding because of various reasons. People and a lot of people, to be honest, a lot of people like the drama because it keeps them relevant. It keeps them calling Felicia and going, Felicia, girl, guess what he just did? And now Felicia's on the phone, and and old girl's talking, Felicia, he did this. And she's like, well, girl, you have to sit down and think about, well, I did. And, da, 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 da. And it's a whole hour and 2 hour conversation that makes the person feel good.
Mm-hmm. And they defend. They defend. Well, the reason why he was tired. Okay. So that's why he cussed me out. Oh, oh, okay. They can always justify bad behavior. When you consistently justify the bad
Yeah,
behavior, you can't move on.
yes, sure.
Yeah.
Let me read some comments. Ben says Brian's singing the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my song was good. My song was good.
Either can't hold no dang tune. Ben says a lot of times we pick lust over love.
Yep.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get into a relationship, the first thing you want to do is start having relations. Worst idea ever. Worst idea.
Or you pick them. I mean, the lust can be lust of the flesh. It could be lust of their
Money.
money. It could be lust of their status. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people build on lust and call it or think that it's love, right?
Yep.
And the way that you can tell the difference is once that stuff fades, where did the relationship go?
Yep.
Right? Once, because everything's going to become common, whether it be sex, whether it be money, whether it be status. Once that kicks in,
Mm-hmm.
where does the relationship go? And 9.999 times out of 10, the relationship falls.
Right. When the money runs out, she runs out.
It's 2022. Lust is love in 2022.
Wow.
For who? For who,
See,
honey?
there you go again. You trying to say for who when you already, past that point. For a lot of people, that's who.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, and you're right though. I think sometimes when you at a certain point, and I'll speak for myself,
Mhm.
it's so obvious to me and so clear that I just want to take her and shake her. Like I want to sit down and have a conversation with her and say, "This is what we're not going to do." Okay, and
This what we not
and
doing.
speak to her. And then once I've had a conversation, she can make a decision to do what she wants to do. But it's sad to me because I'm thinking about who's in her life, like really, who maybe there is, and she, like you said, Felicia, she didn't listen,
Mm-mm.
or maybe she's surrounded by lack of wisdom, because you don't have to have gray hair to be wise. I meet old fools all the time, but it's sad. It's really sad.
And
Yeah.
maybe she's around women that say a piece of man is better than no man. Girl, don't leave your man.
Ooh, child.
You know.
Yep.
And
And
then
that,
she says he accuses me of cheating left and right, and then obviously he's cheating. You
of
know,
course he's cheating.
Mhm.
There's nothing in this scenario that he doesn't get away with. He's abusing her. He's taking her money. He's using her for sex whenever. He's cheating on her. He's always deflecting. So
Yeah.
he's winning 100%. And he's manipulative. He controls her. So for someone like that, he is totally winning. So he's got his cake, he's eating it too.
Yep.
And there's I made a post on social media the other day that reminds me of what someone just said. I don't know who said it, but like that lust, a lot there are a lot of people, men and women, who lust for attention, and even if that attention is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the post that I made was, it was basically saying, hey, you do know that posting pictures being fake happy in your toxic abusive relationship is unhealthy. It's
Right.
damaging. It's and it doesn't aid to any healing or anything. But there are people who are out there that love
They're
the
trying to
attention.
fake it till they make it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the worst advice ever. That fake it
Yeah.
till you make it is the worst advice in history. But they'll know that, hey, I posted about everybody knows my relationship is bad, including me. But I'm about to post it. I'm about to smile so I can get some likes and
Right.
get some people going. Oh, y'all look good. And then 2 weeks later, I'm fixing to post how this person did me wrong. But all of this is people love it when they get those alerts. They love it when they get so and so commented on your deal. So
Right.
and so liked this, and this. That relevancy, if you don't watch it, you could crave for it, right?
Yep. And it's just like a little kid to me with a picture. When you post those, I don't post pictures of me and my husband on social media. Rarely, like maybe once a year on our anniversary. But I've learned that it's like the little kid with the picture that wants to hang that picture on the refrigerator so everybody can see this great picture that I've drawn. That's the same with the relationship. I'm going to post it up on Facebook so everybody can see what a wonderful relationship I'm in. And when I see pictures like that, that's immediately what I think. Oh, she put a refrigerator picture up so everybody can see that she's in a great relationship. When last week I know you had a black eye. But
Pretty
okay,
much.
if that's what you want to do.
yeah, that's sad. And guys, I wish we could talk about this more, but we are coming to the end of the show. This was a lot.
Yeah.
And I think about, I have two girls, right? What would I tell my girls after I slapped the taste out their mouth? Um, I mean, I'd want to do that because of how we live our lives, and they should know better. And we talk about the stuff, but I want to just give our final thoughts. What advice would you give, I guess, a younger woman in this? Okay, what would you give to tell this woman?
Wrong.
Oh, I'll tell her.
Run, Forrest, run.
Go
I
ahead.
would tell her to get out. Just get out. I would
Hmm.
say there are so many programs out there that can help you at this point. Um, it's 2022. You don't have to stay in this relationship. There's so many people, so many things that are available to you now that
Hmm.
you can get out. And, I just think, baby, run, get out
Yeah.
before the baby comes.
Right. Well,
Out.
the
She got
baby's
two
here.
more weeks, baby. She got 2 weeks.
Yeah, the baby's almost here.
Oh, the baby's like, yeah. She
The
got two
baby's
weeks.
almost here. But what you said, what would I tell my daughters? I tell my daughters all the time, you teach people how to love you, how you treat yourself. You know, if you treat yourself bad, if you don't have a lot of self-confidence, then that person knows that's how it's okay for me to treat you this way. And what you allow a person to do, it shows them
It's
this is
true.
how you can treat me. So I would say love yourself, like we've been saying, love yourself and treat yourself well.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay, Brian, your turn. What
I'm
would you
not.
teach your son?
Yeah, y'all know what I tell her, but I know we didn't hit on it a lot, but I do have a little sympathy for her. In one, in this one matter, she said that I'm terrified if I leave again, it's going to happen to me again. My son doesn't deserve an absentee father.
Mm.
I I don't think that she's got any men in her life. I don't think her dad's there. I don't think there are any men in her life that actually care about her, because she's running from man to man to man to man, no matter how bad they treat her. And she's, of course, she's using the son as an excuse, but she's running. If you're a woman who is having a bad relationship, but you've got an uncle that's helping, and you've got a dad that's helping. Oh, I got Junior. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that there's a different tone there. And yeah, she's still being stupid, but she wouldn't be so terrified that this young boy is going to grow up without any type of male figures. I don't. I do kind of sympathize with her in that regard. I don't think she's got any male figures in her life, or any good male figures in her life, to where she feels like she needs to have a man in her life, no matter how bad he treats her.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I would tell her to come to Auntie Rabia. Okay, honey, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you because we're gonna do this for 3 months. Okay. But my advice to her would be to leave them both alone and focus on yourself and your children,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
just redo everything from the bottom up. Start at the foundation, because the foundation is there's too many cracks.
Right.
Too
Like
many.
the house is broken, baby. And it's okay, because you know what? Uh, God can make all things new, and He will. You just
Mm-hmm.
gotta love yourself enough and trust Him. I mean, it's that simple. Anyway, guys, I just want to thank you guys for coming on. Brian, thank you so much for giving us your wisdom and input, and your songs, which, yeah. So Kim had to leave, guys. But anyway, I will see you guys next week. Guys, have an
Bye.
amazing week. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.